Why am I here? Of all the places I could be, it's here, talking to you, sitting on a dirty old cot, caged like an animal. No offense, you're nice and all, but I'd rather be back at home, playing chess or something with my brother, discussing the intricacies of the game, or maybe listening to my sister ramble on about how great this new boy band she heard about is. Hell, I'd rather be getting chewed out by my mom about skipping class again than be here. It's not even my fault that I'm here, alright? I was a victim of circumstance. I just wanted to lift my spirits a little or something. It was just another day and all, birds chirping, sun shining, and me skipping again. Hey, don't look at me like that. You don't have any room to judge, alright? I'm not a delinquent like some of the other pricks at my school. Some of the other kids are nice and all. I've liked the teachers I've had, most of them anyways, except for Mr. Thomason, my elementary school teacher. To this day, I swear to you, he was smoking something. I don't know what exactly, but it's the only explanation about him that makes sense. I remember one day, all us little kids were at our desks, doing whatever we did, talking or drawing or something, and in walks Mr. Thomason with this odd expression on his face as if he had smelled rotten eggs or the like, and then he just starts howling at this poor kid in the front row. I can't really remember what he was saying at the time, to be honest with you. I was in the back of the room, looking on in utter shock at the almost saddening sight before me. That was certainly a scarring experience for the poor tot who got chewed out. Anyways, like I was saying about school, most of the people there are fine and all, but it just isn't fun or anything. I don't derive any pleasure from learning there, alright? Not Epicurean, and certainly not any hedonistic happiness. That says something, I think. If the kids who attend the school aren't enjoying it, then there's something wrong there, Epicurus, the guy who founded Epicureanism, he had a school, did you know? It was called the Garden because, obviously, it was in his personal garden. I think he must have had a pretty big garden to have a whole school in it. You think so? Anyways, the garden was more a community than a school, because Epicurus emphasized friendship as part of happiness, so basically everyone who went to his garden was just like a big old happy family, like if you lived together with your bestest friends. Epicureanism emphasizes a lot of mental and social pleasures, like they derive pleasure from learning and they think the best way to learn is to socialize with others and all that. That's how I think schools should be, So yeah, I like school and all, but I don't like the environment. It's always about the cliques and that, like interest-based segregation. It's crazy, so I don't like attending, because it makes me feel all damn lousy. So instead I just wander around. I go here and there. Not exactly sure where here and there is, though, because, to be honest with you, I don't really pay attention to where I'm going and all that. I just go and try and get as far away from that goddamn place as possible. It's annoying, though, when I walk really far and then need to head back so I can take the bus home, but I don't know where I am because I followed an odd path and wasn't paying attention to the signs. Anyways, I was walking along, having a hell of a lousy day, as per usual, and I come across this shiny, colorful building with a big sign on it and a pretty lady made out of neon on top of it. That's right, a gentleman's club. Open in the middle of the day, right out in the open. I didn't even think that was legal, let alone acceptable. Out in the front of the building, near the entrance, I could see the bouncer to the club having a heated dispute with one of the club's aforementioned gentlemen. I stopped watching the two men argue about whatnot. Wasn't really paying attention to whatever they were shouting about, to be honest with you. I was more or less just thinking about this odd club out in the middle of the day, imagining what kind of filth was inside and all that jazz. As I was looking and thinking about this gentleman's club, the gentleman who was arguing with the bouncer had started to get even more heated and heated till he was practically aflame. For whatever reason he got so mad, he ended up hitting the bouncer across the face. From as far away as I was, it didn't really look like that bad of a hit, more of a smack than anything. When the gentleman saw how ineffective his jab was, he got real pale and took off in the opposite direction, though he was staggering quite a bit. The bouncer took off after him, obviously none too happy that he had just gotten jabbed in the face, leaving the entrance to the club unattended. The outcome of their dispute left me in quite the predicament. The more conscientious side of me was saying, walk away. It's almost time to head back anyways, and you don't want to miss the bus. But the other side of me, the one with the horns and tail and pointy trident, was saying to take advantage of the situation. Enter the gilded building and satiate your curiosity. I stood there for a few more minutes, silently hoping the bouncer would come back and make my decision for me. I just started palming the wooden chess piece I kept in my pocket. I love chess, but It was the pieces themselves that held my interest and fascination. The one I had in my pocket was the pawn. Cliché, I know, but I've always found the little guys to be absolutely necessary to defeating any opponent. Anyways, I found myself inching ever closer to the entrance of the club, closer and closer until finally I was there, opening the portal to a new and dangerous world. I'll be honest with you, it really wasn't all that. It was very dirty and it had an odd smell, one of smoke and, expectedly, shame, that left a frown on my face long after I left. There were weird, middle-aged businessmen-looking guys and quite a bunch of pretty young women who were probably, a little chilly, you know? I walked around a bit, denying the various officers of company given to me by the nice ladies occupying the establishment. I look quite a bit older than I actually am, so none of the girls questioned my age or who I was or where I was supposed to be. Really, though, I wish they had. I no longer wanted to be there. I'd satiated my curiosity, but for a price, one I now realized I was not willing to pay. It broke my heart being in that place. It really did. To know that for some people this is what they go to look forward to when they woke up in the morning. I was disgusted by the club and that society lets places like these exist. And within a minute of being inside, I was already heading back out. Any other of them delinquents would have gone full mast and tore up the joint, I suppose. Guess I really am some kind of crazy. Sadly, my little excursion into the club did have its consequences, which I realized when I was stopped by a roaming police car. The vehicle slid up next to me before stopping. I heard a couple of small clicks and then the doors opened and 2 officers stepped out. The one who was in the driver's seat looked like your average grim pro-antagonist who had seen a lot of BS in too little a time. The other officer, who was in the passenger's seat, was much younger, and though he obviously wasn't a happy camper at the moment, was forcing a smile onto his face in order to make himself look better. He also looked like Tom Cruise. I hate Tom Cruise. "What are you doing here, kid?" asked Grim. None too kindly either, mind you. Tom Cruise shot him a look which he grunted at and turned back to me with his fake smile. "Hey there, bud. Aren't you supposed to be in school right now?" Tom Cruise questioned. I had to stop myself from rolling my eyes, I'll be honest with you. I just couldn't believe that they were doing good cop, bad cop with me. To be honest, I was a little surprised they hadn't questioned my visit to the club. I quickly figured they hadn't actually seen me exiting the place. I said back to him, maybe, as I wasn't exactly partial to being congenial with some Tom Cruise look-alike. "Huh. Well, can you give us your parents' phone number? We can call them and make sure where you're supposed to be, since you don't seem to know." The Tom Cruise look-alike was starting to make me hate the real Tom Cruise even more somehow. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of this now, though, so I gave him my mom's number. They cordially invited me to wait in the back seat of their cruiser while Tom Cruise was calling my mom to affirm where I was expected to be at the time. So while Tom Cruise paced outside with a phone to his ear, I got stuck in the back seat, getting stared at through the rearview mirror by Officer Grimm. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. Finally, Officer Cruise re-entered the vehicle. "Well, buddy, it seems that you were supposed to be at school today. You knew that, didn't you?" "Yeah. Your mom has requested that, instead of just taking you back to the school like we usually would, that we take you to be held in a jail cell until she comes to pick you up. I told her we would happily oblige." I'll be honest with you, it was at that point that I became very pale. The car started, jumped forward a bit as Grim hit the gas too hard, and then we were off. Neither Grim nor Tom Cruise decided to engage me in friendly conversation, which I was thankful for, as it let me think about just how hosed I was. It was thinking about my situation that I began thinking of other people's shitty situations. I remembered the tyrannical Mr. Thomason, and I remembered the Gentlemen's Club, with its poor employees and pitiable clients. I realized then it wasn't just me that was screwed. Everyone was, in one way or another. Society was failing them. Failing me. The very individuals that drive this speeding vehicle that is our society were being left behind in the dust of the vehicle we were supposed to be controlling. We were failing the society we created, making it worse and worse. And for some odd, inexplicable reason I cannot explain, it made me feel a little bit better.